Hi everyone, welcome to another video of Manny Singh Fitness, and today we are going to be something a little bit more personal to me, and that is, are vegans or vegetarians, so basically anybody that does not consume meat, able to make the same type of gains or the same type of muscle gains that meat eaters do? The reason this is personal for me is because when I started my muscle gaining journey, when I started my gym journey, basically at that point, I was just trying to get in shape. I didn't care about bodybuilding. I didn't care about powerlifting, none of that, right? I just wanted to go ahead and lift with my friends and look good, be fit, and all that stuff. It's only a few years later where I could no longer really play basketball because I had graduated college and I decided to go full in on being a gym rat, right? So just bodybuilding. I went through a phase where I wanted to go ahead and get really strong just because at the beginning, somebody had told me I couldn't get strong because I'm vegetarian, because I don't have the essential diets to have high amount of protein or quality protein is the thing they put into question, right? So, well, I want to go ahead and talk a little about that because also that is the reason why I'm trying to go ahead and get a pro card in the Natural Federation for Bodybuilding. And that's because I don't plan to take any gear anytime soon. So even if I go ahead and win a local show, let's say for NPC that's stacked, where is that going to take me? I want to have a future in this, right? So I want to make a bigger impact than just winning some local show. And the way I feel like I can do that is by going on stage, on the natural stage. First of all, it's going to encourage people to go ahead and look into natural bodybuilding. I hope people from here, and nothing against people that are in gear, that's great. It's just there are so many influencers out there that are making kids nowadays make terrible choices. So I want to be able to at least have some type of input or influence on the people to stay natural. And to do that, I want to go ahead and go as far as I can in the Natural Bodybuilding Federation. But on top of that, I want to show you guys that you could do that. You could make just as many gains with being vegan or vegetarian. You don't need meat to really do anything more than if you don't consume meat. So at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the macros. So I'm not going to go ahead and put some study up for you or anything. I'm going to go ahead and put myself as the experiment to you guys. I am going to go ahead and tell you guys about my journey because my journey is a little bit different. When I first started, you are absolutely right. I didn't know what to eat, and it wasn't because there were no vegetarian or vegan foods out there that can provide me the sufficient amount of protein, carbs, and fats. But it was more so there was lack of knowledge. I just didn't know about them because nobody really on the space of YouTube is able to share that information. And if you do, you hear a lot about fake meats and all that, which are not bad, but it's not ideal. They cost so much. So when I first started, I all I cared about was just eating, eating, eating. So I just thought the more weight you gain, the bigger you're getting, right? So that's a common mistake. I am not against people making mistakes. I am just hoping that if you do make mistakes, you realize it was a mistake so you could grow from there. And I realized that I was making a mistake. When I bulked up to 250, I just did not feel good at the time. So imagine being in my position, you've only been lifting for 2 years and you've already gone from, first of all, let me back up a little bit. When I was in high school, I graduated being 230 or 220, somewhere there, but it was not a comfortable 220. It was fat 220. Then I played a lot of basketball and I lost probably around 30 pounds or so and got really, really skinny. And from there, that's when I met with my friends in the gym and I started lifting and then I started gaining and I got to, 250 for the first time lifting in the gym, but it was not a good 250. So I learned very quickly that just because I'm eating more, just because I'm having high calories, it does not mean I'm gaining muscle because I was running out of breath and everything. So then I cut down. I'm like, okay, how can I do this? So I challenged myself at that time. I said I am going to go ahead and compete in a natural physique competition. And I did that. I made sure that I would have worked my tail off to get to that because at that time when I was trying to get a coach, my coach told me, hey man, you're a vegetarian. I don't think you can get lean as you can. And sorry, but I don't think you could be very competitive in this. So I coached myself and I dieted too hard, meaning, I got really, really skinny. I'm not even talking about lean, I'm talking about skinny. I'm 6'3", so imagine me being 6'3", being 182 on stage. That's insane. So, I mean, I won in novice. I got first place in novice and I got third overall in the open physique competition. But again, I felt like a skeleton. I looked like a skeleton. And then from there, I'm like, okay, let's try something different. Went back to 250 slowly with better knowledge this time. However, my diet was still not anything that I would say was sufficient. So this time around, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and play around with tofu. And I know that there is some stigma out there that if you're eating any type of soy-based protein, you're going to get estrogen and stuff like that. And trust me, all that impacted my train of thought as well. And I'll make a separate video about that if that's true or not through my own experience. But so I started experimenting a little bit with different types of foods, whole wheat bread and whatnot. And it still was not, again, complete complex protein. However, tofu, the soybean part, was. So this time around, when I got to 250, it was better than before. However, it still was not good enough, right? So I challenged myself again. So my first competition was in 2016. Then the second time I competed was in 2019, and I tried to go for the same physique and tried my luck in classic physique and NPC just because some of my friends who were competing in there. I didn't do too well in either of those because, again, I was coaching myself and I was just trying to see, okay, maybe, instead of coming 180 this time, what if I keep myself at 200? Well, obviously, being 200 shredded versus being 200 of whatever I was, I still had probably another 6 weeks to go. And I just didn't pack on that much muscle. But I was still in the mentality that I've gained so much muscle since my last competition because I focused on gaining weight rather than really gaining muscle. And and then I started getting a coach. I got my first coach, and Brett Freeman, if you don't know about him, he was NANBF, WNBF Pro. So if you don't know, that's the natural federation that I was trying to go into, and he was a world champion in there. And so I'm like, okay, cool. He's been there, he's done that, and he's going to be the one to coach me. So under his guidance, I went ahead and did another show in 2021 where I came in much, much, much better. And I tried my luck in open bodybuilding at that time, but only in the Natural Federation because, again, at that point, I was just like, okay, NPC, I could do it for the ego, but I know my limit. I know I'm going to lose eventually to the guys that are on gear. So why am I wasting money and time here, right? So in the Natural Federation, I was able to compete against the best of them, right? So in the pro show, I went ahead and placed third. And then ever since then, I have been putting on quality mass and quality size and quality muscle with a diet that I configured right after. Like I literally started experimenting with fake meats, with different types of tofu because there are different textures of tofu, and those textures do matter because the protein content is very different from one brand to another. So and I'll also have like a future videos on the foods I eat so you guys can see how it is. And I love my diet. So I've found the perfect diet to where not only am I getting, whenever I show my macros to people, they don't believe me that it's a vegetarian because I'm eating close to 3,000 calories. And when I was bulking, right? So this is what, the third or fourth time I'm going to back to 240 and then to 250. But this time I was doing it with 3,500 calories and I was feeling good. Like this is the first time I'm at 240 that I am feeling strong, I am feeling confident, and I am feeling like I have muscle that I can lift with and everything. Until I get to 250, then I started feeling a little bit like fat again. So I lost that weight. 240 found to be my sweet spot, or at least the max I can handle right now without sacrificing how I feel. And then when I cut down to 220 to 230, I think that's my sweet spot. That's where I look good, I feel good, and I feel strong. However, my goal is to go ahead and compete in bodybuilding. So I found the diet that I really wanted. And with those staple foods, I was able to go ahead and get the results that I needed, right? So, this whole notion of there's no way a vegetarian or a vegan can get bigger, can get stronger, can get leaner, or anything like that. It's not true. The only difference between someone that eats meat and that doesn't eat meat and bodybuilding is that there's just more variety and more knowledge available for people that eat meat and eggs and everything versus someone that doesn't, and that person has to go out there to do their own research, to go ahead and play around if you have time, right? I was invested. I had time. I knew what I wanted to do. And so I went ahead and experimented. And now that I have found the diet for the past, at least for the past 4 years, so competed in 2021, I'm in 2025. My lifts have gone like skyrocketed, right? But my diet has been the same. If I am trying to gain weight, I'm just eating more carbs. If I am losing weight, I am eating less carbs and eventually less fats. But my protein stays at 270 grams, right? So because I'm 200 pounds, I was 250, whether I was 250, 240, now 200, or even lower, my protein is going to stay consistent, 270, and that's because that's how I gain muscle, and I know that's how I'm going to preserve muscle. And so this whole notion of not being able to get your goals just because you don't eat meat and eggs is just BS. You see those fitness influencers, if you hear anybody say that, you could throw their channel away because those are the people that are basically just putting their personal feelings into it, or they're just lacking knowledge. And those are the two types of influencers that you would want to avoid. And again, I am not against anyone that doesn't eat meat, that does eat meat, that is on gear, is natural, whatever your cause is, whatever your goal is, great. But I am fully against shutting down people's dreams because I am one of the few people that someone tried to shut down the dream for, but that's my fuel, right? So that gets me going and that makes me want to prove them wrong. But I know not everyone is wired that way. And so if you are watching this and you do not consume meat, eggs, or any of that, whether you're a vegetarian, vegan, whatever your choice of lifestyle is, I am here to tell you it's completely possible to get whatever fitness goals you have. Now, you want to be realistic about your goals, whether you're eating meat or not, or eating eggs or not. You can't be a Ronnie Coleman because that's more than food, right? So, um, but you can definitely be the best you, regardless of what your diet is, as long as you are following the calories in versus calories out, and as long as you're giving yourself sufficient amount of complex protein structure. So as long as your diet has full protein amino acids. So whatever your thoughts are, if you have any questions about your own diet, how I can help you, what type of foods I eat, what type of videos you guys want to see from me, leave it in the comments section down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that post notification bell so you know every time I'm uploading a new video, because I am going to be very active on this channel now. I have found my purpose, and I really want to start documenting how I am feeling throughout this entire prep that's going to be starting at the end of this month. We are competing in August. Goal is to go pro and compete at the pro show both this year. Whether or not that will include going to the Worlds, we'll see how I do at the pro show. But I would love to have you guys go along with me on my journey. And before we log off, I want to go ahead and let you guys know that the main message of this channel is going to be, and is always going to be, to stop the hate and spread the love. And before we go, I want you guys to go ahead and in the comment section put down something positive that maybe you've done today, maybe you've done this week, that encourages you in the gym, right? This is a fitness. I want to go ahead and have some positive impact. I want my community, the YouTube community on my page, to be wholesome. I want you guys to be encouraging each other. So whatever great PR, maybe you hit a PR, maybe you did something new, whatever it is, just leave it in the comment section down below. And before I leave, I'll go ahead and play this clip where today I went ahead and I did 9 reps with 6 plates on a pendulum squat, which for me, especially at my current weight with how lean I am, is an absolute PR. So I want to share it with you guys. And if you guys have anything, again, leave it in the comment section below. But either way, guys, I love you all, and I hope you guys have a great one. Boom!